good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome, wherever you are on the globe. Welcome to another episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Today is the 12th of April 2023. Welcome, one and all. Welcome to this program. We had a record number of persons waiting in the class even before it got started. When I looked at YouTube, we had so many persons waiting, and since we went live a few seconds ago, the ones from Facebook have been pouring in. So welcome to classes, welcome. Today will be another very interesting day. Lots of subjects to speak about. My colleague, my co-accused, my partner is already in the studio waiting to give you the information. All those who are seeking permission to join, permission granted for all of you to join the class. Those of you who want to fall in and cover down, fall in and cover down. Tallest on the right, shortest on the left, in single rank, file. You know, as an old drill instructor, you don't forget these things. So fall in, cover down, and be comfortable because we're gonna go for a ride today. The ride along the pathway of truth. Down the pathway of truth, we're speaking truth to power. All those who are uncomfortable with the truth, that is on them. That is not on us. So we will continue to be here. We will continue to speak truth. We scheduled the program on YouTube a little late this morning. So some persons were very anxious. They actually called to find out if program was on today. Yes, the program is going to be on. The program, nothing is going to stop us from telling you the truth, from coming here and giving you the truthful and factual information. Nothing. We are going to make sure. And if for some reason something is going to prevent us from being here, we are going to let you know. We're going to let you know. But very little can come in the way of us and this program. Very little. We are committed. Just as you are committed to being here on Wednesdays and making sure that you're in class early to get the information, we are committed to bringing you the information. We do our research during the week, and we are going to bring you the information. So let's celebrate. Let's celebrate for being in the land of the living. God is good. He allowed us to be here this morning, and we need to give praise and we need to give thanks. Because as I always said, I've always said that, look, to be here is a privilege. Because no one knows when the hour will come. So we just have to make sure that we do the correct things and that we sleep well when the night comes. Some people, I understand, are unable to sleep when the night comes. When the night comes, they can't sleep. They twist and they turn and all sorts kind of thing. Is that the sins catching up with them? I will tell you more about that as the program goes on. We'll tell you more about that. So welcome to one and all. And you know, we say this is the day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Let's rejoice and celebrate being in the land of the living. Many persons were not that fortunate. We just coming off an Easter weekend, and you would have seen several road deaths. People going towards the rodeo in Lethem, along that trail, that long trail, dusty trail, most part. I think one person died there. Then somewhere in the quarantine, there was another fatal accident. Then so many fires over the past week. They have had so many fires, resulting in 2 deaths. And again, all of these things under the Ministry of Home Affairs. So road deaths, fires, Ministry of Home Affairs. I say it again, Minister, you're sour. You're sour. You need to take a bath in blue. You need to go puja. You need to do all kind of ritual to rid you of some of these evil spirits that following you all over the place. No, man, something got wrong. Road deaths every day. Well, every week, road deaths. Fires, so many fires. And you sit down there comfortable. You too must be having sleepless nights, if you care at all. But some people just don't care, so that wouldn't bother them. They won't break the stride because of those things. And then we had this morning, just before I came on live, it was reported that there's a ex-policeman, I think 9958 Cooper, 9858 Cooper was his name. I remember him at the TSU, and then he went to the Presidential Guard, and then I don't know what became of him, but it has been reported this morning that he passed away recently. So let's express condolences to the relatives and friends of all those deceased persons, the fatalities on the road, the people who died in the fire. And then we have Upa rather. And again, I read this morning of some man in the canteen who was chopped to death. Every so often you have these incidents. People, two youth, they say, chase him with a cutlass. Perhaps they had some old grievance and chop him. He died yesterday or sometime. So we have to give praise and thanks to being in the land of the living. And again, condolences to all the relatives, friends, associates of the deceased person. But let me do roll call. Roll call is going to be a little long this morning. Let me do roll call before I bring my colleague in to share some news with us. This morning, I'm proud to announce that one of the regular students was here very, very early. He regained his number one position. I'm speaking about Vibert. Vibert was here early this morning. He came in very early in class 908. We said 908 is early this morning because we scheduled the program a little late, and therefore he was there almost immediately. And then we had Aileen coming in at 909. And then we had, next thing we had Jamil. He came in at 910. Next we had in class Sean, ex-sergeant. Sean from New York came in at 911. Welcome, Sean. Then Vibert from the East Bank of Demerara in Guyana. He came in at 911. Then we had Derek. Derek was so concerned this morning about the program that he actually called me on the phone to find out if the program was on. Welcome, Derek. Welcome. He came in at 9:13. Then we had Barbara. Barbara was here. Barbara B came in 9:14. We had Raul. Redman came in very early. He said good morning to us. Came in at 9:15. Then we had all the way from Lamar Springs, Princess Earl. Not a person who don't miss the program. Princess came in. Then all the way from Canada, my shooting buddy, Paul Archer from Canada, from Ontario. Then we had Lynette all the way from from London. Lynette from London came in at 9:19. Carlton is a squaddy 94:30. He came in at 9:21. Sydney came in next, 9:22. Then we had after Sydney, Gavin, Jakey, welcome. I'm sure you're enjoying the IPL as a cricket fan. All those close finishes. See, Ulrich is on as well. Sure they're enjoying the cricket. Wayne from the UK is here at 9:26. Wayne is a regular, you don't miss. Francis Keith came in from Melanie Damashana, came in at 9:27. Then we had Patrick from Triumph, basically a country man. I know BV and Triumph, we say it's one village. I'm a BV man. If you're from Triumph, then we are basically one village. Then we had Sheila Boychild. Sheila Boychild came in at 9:36. Sandra came in next to class at 9:36 as well. Isabella came in at 9:37. Rahim came in at 9:37. Patricia, 9:37. And then all the way from Jehay, the land of wood and water, Dudley came in at 9:39. Then we had a next squad mate of mine, Gaston Taylor, 9556. He came in at 9:43. He's in Canada. Then we had Lyndon from Patterson, from NA, and now Patterson, New Jersey, came in at 9:44. Winston came from Ontario, California. He came in at 9:48. Floyd came in at 9:54. Bonita came in at 9:55. And then Orion's from the UK as well. I know Orion used to play domino back in the day. Came in at 9:59. Brian came in at 10 o'clock. Joan came in after Brian at 10:01. Jacko from Georgia, not a cricket fan, so I'm sure you're enjoying IPL. All these exciting finishes. 10:02. And then we had Fort Welly. Fort Welly came in at 10:03. Then we had next is Machu, came in at 10:08. John, not a regular, at 10:09. Linden, all these are YouTubers. You know, I told you we had a full house of YouTubers before the program went live. Came in at 10:10. Gregory came in at 10:20. Then we had, I think I missed Francis. Francis came in at, what time? 10:20. Then Bort came in at 10:22. Kodawashi, not a regular on the program, came in at 10:22. Everett came in at 10:27. Everett, I'll answer the question on the next program. I'm going to answer it today. We full. We full. So I'm going to answer your question. Don't be disappointed. I'm going to answer. Kevin came in at 10:29. Then we have Stian came in there at 10:30. Patricia came in at 10:31. And all the way from Canada, Constable 9795 Young, reporting for duty from Toronto, Canada. Welcome, Mr. Young. Natasha came in at 10:33. Then we had Johnny. Johnny came in at 10:35. Anthony came in at 10:35 as well. Then we had Granville at 10:38. Patrick, old TSU man, Patrick came in at 10:43. Felicia came in at 10:44. Hazel came in at 10:44. Speaking Truth to Power. Speaking Truth to Power came in next at 10:45. Then we have Keelan here at 10:48. All these are early people on YouTube. Maureen came in at 10:48 as well. Another shooting mate of mine, John Fraser, came in at 10:49. Maureen, well, I called Maureen already. Melissa came in at 10:51. Desiree came in at 10:52. Ian, Lucius, how you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the live. Came in at 10:52. Philip came in here at 10:53. Then we had Chilo, Rich Forever Chilo. He's here at 10:58. And then when we went live, Chilo was the last person on YouTube before we got started. When we got live on Facebook, we had the secretary. Then he's here right on the dot 10:59. Mbali. Then we have Tomo, Brendan. We had William. Winston Archer was here. We had who else? We had Assad. Then we had Susan, Rihanna, Patricia, Rhonda, Lynette Fraser. Lynette is from the UK. Welcome, Lynette. Welcome. We had Joan. We had Rohan. Rohan, welcome, welcome, Rohan, welcome. Always good to see you on the program and to read your comments. We had Brenda. And then what we're gonna do, we have Ariat. Let's go now. Let me bring my colleague in, and then we're gonna come back to the Facebookers a little later. But as I told you, class full this morning. So if we have to go on the roll call on and on, we're gonna spend a considerable time. But we're gonna come back to it. We're gonna come back to big you up. Now let me add my colleague in, bring it to the studio and say, welcome, CC. Welcome. How have you been?
Good morning. I'm well, and always say glad to be in the land of the living to do God's work. And they can't prevent us from doing the work, Paul. All they could delay us. They could use Pegasus and delay us, but the work has got to go on. The truth has got to prevail over evil.
Exactly. I'm sure you already about the deaths, and you want to express your condolences to the relatives
Yeah,
of those forces as well.
yes, I can remember Upo. I think he was a 6 footer. So I wish to express my deepest sympathy to his family, his friends, relatives, and all those who maybe have passed away and we didn't mention. Also, I want to um, big up John Knights a bit. He said last week he was on, but we didn't call him. So I know he on today, but I want to apologize for us not calling his name last week.
Now, while you're on that, let me ask you, Adi Mark, too. You got some regulars, Adi Mark, John. I don't know if I missed when I ran the comments later. I saw John was on, so I know that John would not miss it. People like Lado, who is on the live, got to say welcome to all of these people. They don't miss it. And a young lady would always remind me that she's Cross-Eye, your squad is Cross-Eye, baby's sister. She's always
Okay.
on the program. So welcome, welcome. And I see Petal saying Upo was our squaddy. Yeah, Petal, welcome, Petal. Welcome to all those person. Mark is here as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As I said, Queenie all the way from West Coast Barbies is here. Welcome to you, one and all. Now let's move on. We just came out of the Easter weekend, and here are some observations. Easter is one, perhaps the most celebrated in terms of gathering weekend in Guyana. Christmas is celebrated by all, and you have certain activities. But when it comes to Easter, all the open spaces, kite flying is a big thing in Easter on Easter. It starts maybe as early as the Sunday, and then it goes on to the Monday. I remember very well the seawall, all of those places around East Coast Road, GDF area, all those places like Everest, Police Ground, thousands and thousands of people. And as a result of that, we used to make sure, no, I said we, the police I command, it was properly planned for. Each and every divisional commander had to come to the senior management meeting and present the operational plan for the weekend. Because in addition to the Easter activities, kite flying on the coast, at Lethem you'll have the rodeo, at Bartica you'll have regatta. So it's a big weekend. It is a big weekend, and from what I have seen, what I've observed, it seems as there was no adequate planning for this countrywide activity. Places like 63 Beach, for example, big thing there. I was disappointed to see so many accidents on the Linden and that trail to Lethem. And then after the accident, after the fact, I saw an inspector on social media advising people to be careful and all of that. And then later on, I think it was Sunday night, I saw the guy from Borbies, the traffic man in Borbies, advising people. And the thing looks so unprofessional. That is my view. Because I would have thought that something like that, the corporate propaganda unit, which they refer to as the corporate communication unit, would have put together something. And if the officer and the inspector have to come and make a presentation, it will be something that is properly put over. Not this unprofessional thing they come and repeating and repeating. And people called me and drew my attention to it. And I said, well, that's the way these things operate now. I mean, it is very, very disappointing because the precedents are there. Notwithstanding that thing that said, well, you mustn't look at the past and all of that. The past is very important to inform you as to how you should proceed. So I am sure, CC, you would have seen that, and you may want to offer a comment. What are your views on the preparation?
Like you, I had my I I observed what went on or didn't go on because you mentioned a critical area that in all these activities you have to have an operational plan, or we sometimes we call it a special order, and it is an international plan where you use the acronym IIMAC. Your information, your intention, your method, your administration, and your communication, those things are spelled out in one document. And as you rightly mentioned, that is a busy weekend. Look, Rojo at Lethem is a long journey from Georgetown to Linden, Linden to Maburo, Maburo to Kurbukari, the crossing, then to Ayakramo on Tile Road, and then on to Lethem. Tremendous traffic. One would have thought that they would have put system in place, maybe even to escort vehicles, that you have police patrols in various sections of that long road to Lethem. But no, after the fact, after accidents, after death, they got an inspector, and I'm sorry for him, to make a presentation, and the one in Borbis, that it was so confusing. I thought they would sit down and put up a proper a proper communication, because the whole thing was disjointed. They rumble, they jump all about the place. They didn't follow the communication principle. KISS, keep it short and simple, or keep it short and we used to say sweet. And the English, I must say, was atrocious. Atrocious. I wish to recommend to them, when they're going to make presentation to the media or from now, that they go into YouTube and type in English with Lucy. English with Lucy, you go on YouTube and it's going to be of value to them. I'm giving them free information, because if I charge them, they're going to say I conspire to defraud, and they may give me another bogus charge. But they need to be more professional. It's the image of the police force you're displaying. And when you put a person to talk there and they talk a lot of trash, use a lot of wrong English, or we say a lot of green verbs, it's not good for the police force.
Well, it's not good for the country as well, because you see the thing now with social media, it is not confined to the local readership and the local viewership. It goes all over the world, and in many
Yeah,
cases, it's live. So therefore, that is what you're projecting. So, and that is why you need to make sure that you do your homework and that these things are properly done, written out. Come to ad lib, you come on the social media to ad lib on something like that. You have to write out something, prepare a script, and make sure you stick to the script, because I don't think they have the ability to ad lib. And let me tell you something, even when you ad lib, even when you go there, you say you're going to ad lib, you have to have your bullet points. You have to
yeah,
have your bullet points, and then you expand from those bullet points. So this is again, as CC is saying, it is free advice to you guys. It is free advice. Years ago, we would have pulled you in a classroom and we would have brought in the professionals and we would have taught you how to go about this thing. But you know now, when you bring in people or when you try to teach them, they're going to say you conspire. So we ain't conspiring to do anything. We are going to expose it. We are going to expose it. Speaking out, exposing corruption and incompetence. And this is incompetence when you have that going on. And let me move on. As I said, we have so much to talk about this morning. Somebody's recommending, Maureen is recommending it. Let me put it up. And Maureen, you're correct, right? They should have Toastmasters Club to be considered for the police force, especially those in senior positions who have to interface with the media. Because, since the Boscom or in Boscom revelation, and they had this already put together press conference to debunk what was said. They are now media shy. They are mic shy. Media is like the mic is like kryptonite to them. They don't want to go anywhere around the mic. So perhaps in preparation, you might want to go as Maureen is suggested, Toastmaster Club. I know they have a young officer there who is very good at that, and I think he's a part of the Toastmasters Club. Perhaps he can introduce you so that you people can get understand how to present, to make presentations. I was fortunate, when I went to staff college in the UK, the people who taught me media presentation was no less persons that from the BBC. The BBC. When I did my course at the FBI, again, media training, CNN, Pierre Thomas, who is now on, I think, Channel 7 ABC, he was the facilitator there. So yes, you have to be trained to do these things. Of course, the training will tell you how to present, but then as CC said, you gotta know the language. You gotta know the language. If you don't know the language, you're gonna present a lot of crap, a lot of green verbs, and all that type of thing. And as one man said some years ago, when a particular man had his farewell speech, I never forget, I was in the UK, I was in the US on vacation, and he called me, a friend of mine called me to tell me that Scotland Yard was in Guyana. So I said, Scotland Yard was in Guyana. What for? He said, Scotland Yard investigated murder. So I said, who murder? The man said, a man just killed, he just butchered the Queen's English. So Scotland Yard is here to investigate. And that was his way of putting it over. So yes, you got to try and learn, because when you go there, it's the whole country, the whole Caribbean, the whole world listening and looking at you. And they are judging you, and they're judging the force, and they're judging Guyana by your unprofessional presentation. And they have people who can present, I'm sure. They have people who can do proper presentation. So you have to choose the best. Now, CC, moving along. Last week, I read something where a rank from the presidential guard stole the first lady's wedding ring. Unbelievable. And let me tell the viewers, when they say rank from the presidential guard in Guyana, members of the presidential guard are police officers. So whether you're recruited directly into the presidential guard or you're transferred from one or the other units into the presidential guard, they are all police officers. So you have a case here where it has been reported that a police officer, who I would want to think had the privilege of working on the presidential guard, of guarding the president and his family and buildings associated with the president and his family, the man is alleged to have stolen the president, the first lady's ring, wedding ring, the thing say. It be said stolen fancy language. The man is alleged to have, the man thief. I can't tell Guyanese would say the man thief the first lady ring. Now several questions came to mind. And let me, before I go to the questions, it is said that following that, I know the discovery, because I know these things are very secretive, confidential. They don't tell you about these things. So you glean some things from social media and so on. They say he was placed under close arrest at the TSU. Again, we talk about that over and over. A man thief, there's no provision in law for a man who thief to be placed under close arrest. Close arrest relates to specific disciplinary violations. So, all right, they're running with this thing. He was placed under close arrest. And then I understand shortly thereafter, he was released. They didn't charge him criminally. I don't even think they charge him departmentally. They just release him or they transfer him to some other area. So here you have a case where a man thief from the first lady, stole a ring, and he is transferred from the presidential guard to some other unit within the force. But this thing is terrible. He transferred. So you take a thief, he's so brazen that he thieving from the first lady, and then you're transferring it to some other branch in the police. It's more thief. It's more thief. CC, did you see that? What are your views?
Paul, I saw it and it was alarming. But there are more questions than answers. When this thing take place, where did it take place? What was the first lady asleep and he pulled it off her fingers? Or did she leave it somewhere and he and took it off, maybe it itching her finger and she took it off and left it somewhere and did he pick it up? Um Sometimes when you're doing investigations or when things happening in your area of work, you do environmental scanning, and you, Paul, you mentioned about when you were at Bramshill. I'm certain that they tell you about environmental scanning, that you look at the internal and external environment. And remember, on the 9th of July 1982 at 7:15, a man in my bedroom, Michael Fagan, went into the Queen's bedroom. You saw there, he scaled a 14 feet perimeter fence, climb up a drain pipe into an open window, and found himself in the Queen's bedroom. She tried using the telephone and alarm system, no results, still long afterwards. And he was there about 2 months before. And he stole some wine. He drank some wine that belonged to Prince Charles. So after the second entry there, they couldn't charge him with trespass, because they're saying in the current of British law, trespass is a civil wrong, not a criminal offense. So they charged him for stealing the wine. And within 14 minutes, he was acquitted by the jury. And he was acquitted by the jury. There was a big investigation, unlike what happened in Guyana. Remember, months ago, a Nigerian found himself into the president's building there, compound there, shot, took away weapon, shot a policeman, left the compound, and he was shot. He received injuries. He was hospitalized. And the policeman who he shot, remember that he, instead of that they awarded him a two-stripe. I saw the president pinning on a two-stripe on his pajama for bravery and courage. When a lot of slackness took place there, how did the man enter the place? Well, how did he get access to the place, as the case may be? Now, an assistant commissioner from the Scotland Yard investigated the matter. And here are some of the things what he said. A damning report. He said, if police officers have been alert and competent, Michael Fagan, would have been apprehended before we got close to the private apartments. He went on to say that a number of police windows were improperly installed and secure. A number of alarms were either incorrectly installed or malfunctioning. A senior officer was suspended. Two were removed from duty there. And this one is important. a significant reinvestment in police security took place at that palace. Here is it. A man entered there, disarmed the police, shot the police, left the compound. He was injured. Nothing apparently was done. And now we have a man stealing the wedding ring of the first lady. Are they doing any checks or balances? Are they doing any investigation? Are they trying to improve the security? Whether we like it or not, whether we like the president or not, he is the head of state. And his security and the security of his family's household must be second to none. But they're fiddling with security for the head of state. Look who they have as the head of security for the president guard. A man who was on pre-retirement leave, and when the government changed, they took him on, and he's still there. Nobody checking, no proper system, no professional approach towards the security of the president and his household. Nonsense, Paul. Nonsense going on in that place.
Well, given the qualifications of the head of this presidential guard, Special Assistant Commissioner Edgar Thomas, he's a technical man. He knows about cameras. He knows about this body armor, body cam. And so I suspect that he might want to make recommendations for the installation of more cameras and people to wear body cam and all of that, because that is his area of competence. He know nothing about diplomatic and VIP security, but he was brought there. And that is what you have. And yes, Sheila Boychild is saying that is the first time he's hearing about this ring story. Yeah, my brother. Yeah. That is why we're here to tell you what is going on. So when they try to duck these things under this carpet, we are going to let you know what is going on. And then somebody here reminding me of an incident some years ago, where, look, let me put it up. This is Kevin. Kevin said Corporal Ram that was caught in the AG's Shabuddin kitchen eating curry chicken out of the pot. And these things sound alarming, but it is true. Ramdat 8550 was his number. 8550 Ramdat. He used to work at the AG, Shabuddin's resident, and they catch in the kitchen thief in the food. So Ramdat. So we might want to say, well, maybe there's precedent for this type of thing. But we never had one where people go into the presidential residence, because I'm assuming that the ring would have been in the residence. I can't imagine that this ring would have been taken off in the lawns and rest on some bench or some chair. So again, the information is sketchy, but I'm assuming that the ring was somewhere if not in the bedroom, somewhere in the residence when this thing happened. And somebody did say, based on the story told there by CC a while ago, Sparrow sang a song. The song named Philip, My Dear. For those younger ones, I think it was around 1982, sometime then. Go to YouTube. The name of the song is Philip, My Dear. And listen to the words carefully. Listen to the words carefully, Philip, my dear. Sparrow, the greatest calypsonian on the planet, he's still around, the greatest calypsonian on the planet, sang about that incident where the man went into the queen's bedroom and she found him there. And, you know, if you listen to it, listen carefully to the words, and then you're going to realize how brilliant a calypsonian the mighty Sparrow is. The brilliant calypsonian. So I encourage you to go to YouTube and to listen to that. Yeah, but then, you know, people are saying that with this incident, where the rank for the presidential guard stole the ring, the fact that hardly anything happened to him apart from him being placed under close arrest initially and transferred, people are questioning whether it has to do with his ethnicity, because I understand he is Indian. So people are suggesting there is a different rule for certain people. And it is obvious in Guyana. We know that. We know in Guyana, different strokes for different folks. That is known. There are so many incidents which that is revealed. So let's wait and see what will happen. But I am saying, as some people saying here, about thief the First Lady ring. He didn't borrow it. He thieved the First Lady ring. And the action taken is to transfer him from the presidential guard to some other place. From the presidential guard, they're transferring him to some other unit. I don't know which unit. I see somebody saying here that the signal is being jammed. I tell you, well, go to YouTube, I encourage everyone to check YouTube because sometimes on Facebook, they interfere with the program on Facebook. But when you go to YouTube, I think YouTube is a more reliable platform. And I've said, go there, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button, and you will get notification when the program goes live. Miss Quadi, Doreen saying it's news to she. Yeah, it's news, Doreen. So, once you come here on a Wednesday, you're going to get all the news. All the news you're going to get. So, yes, that is what happened recently, within the past week or so. Within the past week or so, that ring incident took place at State House, the official residence of the president. So maybe you can equate that to the palace with the queen when the man went in to our bedroom. And some people ask me some difficult question. Bonita want to know how come the policeman is transferred and not fined for stealing. I asked him the same question, so I can't provide the answer now. I can't provide the answer, right? So that is what is going on. Now let me move on. Unless CC want to say anything further on that. CC, do you want to?
No, but I just want to urge them, shake up the bloody place. Make sure that you have proper security for and only the president too. Government officials, they need to have proper security. And you get people in there who don't know anything about protective security. So they do like what the British do. Serious investment in the security system. Get rid who you gotta get rid of. Be serious about it. A man in your bedroom? God.
Yeah, well, thanks to Cherry. Cherry is saying here the ring was pawned. I understand from one of the social media outlets, yes, apparently the ring was recovered from some pawnbrokery. So apparently the man, having taken the ring, went and collect a raise on it. So during the course of the investigation, he might have told them where he left it, where he pawned it, and they went. Yeah, I did read that part, Cherry. Thanks for reminding me about the recovery of the ring. And people say, well, what going on is that people want to know how come this man just get transferred. So a man who thief from the president's residence, from the force, they thief the wedding ring. There's not a man who pick up any ordinary thing that is lying idle. And I'm not saying that should be done, but he goes there and he steals a ring. The man is a thief. You're transferring him. So he should be transferred to Georgetown prison or Lusignan prison and remand. Of course, everybody is entitled to the presumption of innocence, even though the AG and them just forget that sometimes. So you got to go through a process. He should be made to go through a process with a view of dealing with him condignly. So you're telling people you thief there, you transfer it to someplace else where you get all sorts of things gone, people property, ring, like gold and all this everything. You put in there, next thing you know, young and stop. They say when what they say about cattle drinking milk, you can't stop them from drinking milk. They said, dog, what suck egg? You can't stop you from sucking egg. So let's remember that. Now, CC, there's another thing that I want you to talk about. There was an incident where a firearm, we have been lamenting the fact that these private security companies, these mushrooming private security companies are out of control. They're doing their own thing. A report reached us that a firearm was stolen from a security guard from a supermarket in Cemetery Road. The supermarket is located at the same place where the funeral parlor, A and D funeral parlor, was located. Remember, they had this funeral parlor there? So the funeral parlor is now a supermarket. And the report is that some security guard was there working and somebody relieved him of the firearm with which he was armed. And more than that, we understand that during the course of this initial investigation that was done, it was discovered that he was not a supreme constable and therefore was not authorized to carry a firearm. And it was also revealed that he worked for the same company who had given the man at Border Market a 9mm pistol, the man who was not a supreme constable and should not have been given a pistol to work. And he shot himself in his hand and shot a 15-year-old. That is since don't know when you heard anything more about that. The same company The same company this firearm is stolen from. And I understand nothing has happened. As a matter of fact, it wasn't even reported in the regular media or even social media. This is a confidential source, passes information on. And of course, the same people that said with the original incident where the man had shot himself and shot somebody, they said Jackie Opel came in. In other words, money, somebody pay and nothing happened. Now, CC, again, let me invite you to give your comments on this situation where the security guards are doing their own thing.
Paul, I said before, and we said it on several episodes, that the Private Security Act is operating in the breach. The providers of security, they are committing serious breaches that call for them to be suspended, call for them the operation to be closed down. The act gives the commission the power to, in the first instance, suspend them for breaches in the first instance, seize all their weapons. All those persons who are supernumerary constables, their appointment should be revoked in within a month. They should be suspended, and ask them to give reasons in writing why the suspension shouldn't be further extended, or they cancel their their um their license. But nothing is being done. Committing serious and serious offense, persons who are not sworn are given weapons to work. They are in an unlawful possession of arms and ammunition. I don't know. Well, as you mentioned, Jackie Opel may be coming into play. That no action is being taken against the security service. No firm action. A security service lost 11 weapons and still operating. 11, I think they find back some 11 weapons. There's time to close it down. Or unless Jackie Opel come into play, like you got to pay. But the thing is that the act is not being enforced. It is there. Perhaps they're doing like what Jack Dio do. Because after the parliament pass it, Jack Dio take 1 year and 3 months before he sign it for it to come into law. So they're doing like Jack Dio did, and they're not enforcing it. It is alarming. And I'm saying there is no fear. I think Alistair McLean wrote a book, Fear is the Key. I think there was a film on it. Fear is the key. That there is no fear that if I breach the act, that I will be suspended or I'll be closed down. So they got free reign to do what they gotta do, just paying a couple of dollars.
Yeah, that's what's going on. Well, let me show you all a next picture. Let me show you a picture. This is and this is what? This is sometime over the weekend. Somebody took this out, and this is a security guard. And according to what the thing say, 10:40 a.m. on the particular date, security guard outside the Wisdom supermarket on the Better Hope Railway Embankment Road is drinking with his friends, shotgun in hand. These security guards need to be triple checked. Look at their picture is worth 1,000 words. So it's not only Slow and Conway saying, somebody posted this, and we said, let me show you. We remove the name of the person who posted it and the face of those persons. Man get banks in the hand, banks in the right hand, shotgun in the left hand, and enjoying himself. And he's a security guard on duty. That is what we have. We had not so long ago the one shooting up wrong in the air in Eccles. We had the one who shot his foot. And we have had so many shooting incidents. One dancing in a supermarket, all kind of thing, but nothing is being done. And the lawlessness with this private security is continuing. The lawlessness is continuing. Now, the next thing that we want to bring to your attention, let me show you the picture first. Let me try and get a picture and show you so you can understand, bring some context to what we're going to discuss next. Look at the picture here. This is a newsroom, a newsroom. See it there for yourself, friends. Guyanese man returning home complains of having his suitcase opened and searched on the roadside by cops. This was at the roadblock outside the Providence police station. This is somebody over the past week came into the country traveling along the East Bank Road, and the police, you see a policeman there, stopped the vehicle, and the man is made to open his suitcase on the roadside. They report to say it, on the roadside for police to search. What more lawlessness you wanted to see? When are these people, the man who sits in the chair and all of them, when are they going to address these issues? And these are indications of a system that has broken down. The system is broken down, so things like this can happen. Man, imagine you coming into the country from wherever you're traveling to the country. You have passed through immigration, you pass through customs. Now you're on your way to wherever you're going. I don't know if you're going to Georgetown, if you're going far up on the quarantine, wherever he's going. Police stop you in front of Providence police station. That is the report. And whatever transpired, he is made to open his suitcase on the roadside. Let me emphasize that. He's made to open his suitcase on the roadside because it's the police say that that must happen. See, let me invite you to comment, and I'm going to leave this up here for a while. I want people to see. I want it to sink in what is going on. This you hear the government and the Ministry of Tourism talking about encouraging tourists to come to Guyana and all of the type of thing. When this type of image goes all around the place, because don't blame me, it was there already. You see his newsroom reported it, right? So it went all over the place already. People saw it. I'm sure people are going to decide, hey, I am taking no chance to come to Guyana, if that is going to be the treatment that is going to be meted out to me. And let me say this. Let me assume we're going to go into the law. We're going to explain the law to our viewers just now as it relates to that type of activity. We're going to explain it. I'm going to show you it because I have this slide to show you what the law says, and we're going to try to explain. Even if something occurred and you want to short, which gave you grounds, which give you legal grounds to short the suitcase. You're outside the police station. Why you did not take it into the police station? Why did the man not accompany you in the police station to have some privacy in the search? And that's providing you would have had enough grounds to carry out such a search. But this is the lawlessness that we have. This is the lawlessness that we have. So, CC, please.
Paul, I'll put up the law and let me talk about it. Let's put up the law. Let's talk about it.
I think the law deals with
Section 18.
Yeah, road.
No,
all right.
for the powers to stop, search, and detain vehicles,
All right, let me put up the one there.
persons, and yeah.
Here we have it. Power to stop, search, and detain.
All right.
Right? And again, read it for yourself, folks. Read it for yourself. Let me go along. They say there's section 18 of the Police Act. You know, the Police Act, chapter 1601, is where the police derive all their powers from. All their powers. Section 16 deals with the power of arrest. Then you have section 18, and these are things we learned in training school. You have to remember this verbatim. Verbatim, you have to remember this. And section 18 of the Police Act 1601 says, any member of the force may stop, search, and detain any aircraft, vessel, or vehicle in or upon which there shall be reason to suspect. I highlighted that part. There shall be reason to suspect that anything stolen or unlawfully obtained, or that any person suspected of having committed an indictable offense may be found. And he may also stop, search, and detain any person who may be reasonably suspected of having or conveying in any manner anything stolen or unlawfully obtained. CC, as an old instructor, man, take a bite of this.
Yeah, I used to lecture on this and I used to get fun. The operative words, as you rightly highlighted, shall be reason to suspect. The thing is reasonable suspicion. A reasonable suspicion. And the big question is you'll ask you in court, what caused you to reasonably suspect that the man had something stolen or unlawfully obtained? Some police want shelter under the pretext, hey, acting on information received. But the court nowadays don't accept them thing now. What caused you to reasonably suspect that the person had the thing stolen or unlawfully obtained? And the reasonable suspicion is the key in this whole matter. In the United States, it's talk about probable cause. But we pattern off of the British system and we talking about reasonable suspicion. And what caused you to reasonably suspect that it's stolen things or things that unlawfully obtained or the persons about having committed an indictable offense, as the case may be. That the reasonableness is the key. And not only that too, sometimes when they stop and they search and they detain, sometimes they might search a vehicle and there are multiple occupants in that vehicle. So they gotta be careful in terms of proving possession. And possession could be possession is of two kinds, either actual or constructive. Actual is where you have it in your person, or constructive where you have it elsewhere, knows about your existence and you intend to treat it as your own. I remember listening as on a particular course, listen to my one of the lawyers, and he used to talk about a mental aspect of position where you know of the existence of the thing and want to treat it as your own. So they gotta be careful. And in terms of what happening in the police force now, they say they might find something on a person and they say, hey, the person admit Skipper is me own or Sor is me own. They're not looking for other evidence. They're not looking for forensic evidence, a fingerprint, or something in the bag, as the case may be, to prove the case. They're gone. The man admit, and there's it. And when it goes to court, the matter is thrown out, and there goes the case. Or they're not looking at find ballistic at the scene of a crime and trace it to a weapon, as the case may be. They're looking at basically confession. And confession don't convict nobody in these days because a person will go and threaten it. So the thing is, the law is there that the police can pause to stop, search, and detain, but it must be a reasonable suspicion. And you quite rightly say, why on the road? Carry them to the police station and do the search there. And sometimes we do search, and we'll come to that when we're talking about road barriers. Who are entitled, who are empowered to set up road barriers, Paul?
Yeah, and coming down to the bottom part here, when it says, I wanted to read this part again. It says, shall be reason to suspect that anything stolen or lawfully obtained on this part, or that any person suspected of having committed an indictable offense. Important.
Yeah.
An indictable offense, not an ordinary summary offense. An indictable
Yeah.
offense, and for our viewers, offenses basically are of two types: summary, that is less serious, and then you have the indictable offenses: murder, robbery, rape, arson. Those are serious offenses. And again, as we're teaching, when we talk about indictable offense, we talk about offenses that are tried by a judge and jury. The summary offenses are dealt with by the magistrate. Now you have a law, the Administration of Justice Act of 1978, which allows the magistrate to so you might be charged indictably, and then an application is made for summary disposal, and the magistrate can agree to finish the matter at the magistrate court. Prior to that, prior to 1978, prior to the Administration of Justice Act, if a person was charged indictably, the person had to say, the person who is charged had to say as to whether he wanted the matter to be finished at the magistrate court or whether he wanted to go to the High Court for the judge and jury. But after the Administration of Justice Act, it is the magistrate who has the authority to determine whether the matter is going to be dealt with summarily or whether the matter is going to be dealt with indictably. And here, let me try to explain further. Not all matters. Some matters are indictable offenses by their very nature. Then you have some matters that are indictable and also they are summary. Let me give an example. For example, larceny. You thief something. Now, if you thief $100 or you thief $500, it's larceny, but it can be charged under the Summary Jurisdiction Act because of the amount involved. Whereas if you thief a couple $1 million, it's still larceny, but it's going to be charged under the Criminal Law Offences Act for the judge and jury. But the magistrate can determine, right, that this matter is going to be dealt with at the magistrate court and finish that. And they call those offenses hybrid offenses. Those are offenses that can be tried either summarily or indictably. Some hybrid or either or That is the part of it. So for the young policemen who are listening, understand that. I don't know what is the monetary amount now relating to a summary simple larceny charge, and what is the monetary amount for a indictable charge. But those things are listed in law. And if you're a police, you ought to know. You ought to know that if a man is found, if a man steals a particular amount of money, what is the whether he can be charged summarily or whether he is to be charged indictably. And in indictable charges, again, we're teaching young policemen in particular, if the magistrate decides to proceed indictably, then the magistrate will hold a preliminary inquiry, a PI. In other words, to see if there is sufficient evidence to let the matter go up to the High Court. And if the magistrate determines that, after having listened to the evidence, that there is not sufficient evidence, the matter can be discharged there and then. If the magistrate conversely rules that there is sufficient evidence, then the depositions, and here how the process works. The magistrate will prepare all the documents, the depositions, and those things are sent to the DPP for review. And it's the DPP, having reviewed, will indict the person rather. The DTT will indict the person to stand trial at one of the High Court sessions. And in Demerara, 4 sessions in Demerara. You have the January session. Now you have the April session going on. Then you'll have the June session. And then you have the October session. 4 sessions in Demerara. So again, young policemen, and if you want to know about the sessions, look the High Court Act. The High Court Act spells out the sessions. It says the second Tuesday rather, in January, the first Monday in April, Tuesday I mean, the first Tuesday in April, June, and October. So I'm giving you some research. Go and read and educate yourself, because one of the travesty you have now is that nobody puts these ranks into a classroom and try to explain these things to them. So you pull the average police on the road and ask, all right, what is an indictable offense? How are indictable offense dealt with? What is a summary offense? How are summary offenses dealt with? You run into problem. They don't know. They don't know because they are not taught these things nowadays. Mr. Conway, as a whole, instructors, you remember the one? We had the instructors and the headmaster. You know who that was?
Yeah. I they're going to find out. They're going to Cyril Potter College of Education and find out about those things, Paul. They're going to the place where you're teaching pedagogy instead of andragogy, so that they're not in the nature of adult learning. Police taking on men and women, and children learn differently from adults. Nobody in there with police experience or anything, to teach them those things. They can't teach out of a book. You got to be able to relate what is in the book to life situation, to real life situation. But as you rightly say, they're not teaching those things, and therefore the youngsters don't know, and they do all sort of things like what they did outside of Providence Police Station and on many more locations.
Yeah, Sean said there's constructive possession to the actual or constructive. Yes, we know that. And I remember a policeman got in trouble at Vidnu Police Station because his argument was when he take the money, he put the money in the property book. And he take a bribe, mark money, put it in the property book. And when the money was found, his argument was the money, he hadn't actual possession. The money was not on his person. But the evidence was clear. He has constructive possession. He get jail. He get 3 months. So yes. Sean, thanks for that. Let me. I see a lot of people here now. Ian Peters is here. Ian wants to know why the man reason searching the man's suitcase after he cleared Costa. That is the main question that many persons ask. That is the main person that many question ask. Cheryl is here. Welcome, Cheryl. Cheryl is here on the live. Welcome. We have Pamela is here as well. It's the system. We've been saying that all along. We have Valletta. Ether came in here. Ether is normally a regular. She comes in every day. She was a little late today. Canty, welcome, Canty. Welcome. Sean is here. Welcome, Sean. Welcome. Maria and Commissioner Cole is here as well. Who else? Linda. Linda is here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And a lot of people came late, but we know there might be reasons for people coming late. Corinne is here. I mentioned Lado earlier is here. Um, Rajendra is here. Welcome, guys. Welcome. And I got a note. I got information. Another regular apostle who's here regularly, Cecil Ogle. Cecil Ogle came late, and he says somewhere along the stream there that he's late because his dad died last Friday. That is why he's late. Cecil, condolences to you, Cecil, on behalf of myself, behalf of Mr. Conway, behalf of all the Speaking Out fans. Condolences to you. I know it's a tough thing to lose a parent, and we pray that the good Lord will give you strength to overcome this adversity. But we wish you all the best, Cecil, and all the strength to be there with fight. Don't give up. Your father's died. Many of us have lost parents. It's not an easy thing, but condolences to you and your family. Now, Cece, you said we need to go to the next logical step from after the thing that we showed a while ago about the power to stop, search, and detain. Let's put up the erection of road barriers. Now,
Yep.
we have here for the viewers to see again, and we're going to talk about this. What the law says, and this is section 26 of the same 1601. Remember, we tell you that 1601, chapter 1601 of the laws of Guyana, is where police get their power to do anything that they do. Whether it's an arrest, whatever they do, this is where they get their powers from. And this deal with road barriers. And in police language, road barriers are distinct from roadblocks. Army talk about roadblocks, they talk about snap roadblocks and established roadblocks. But generally, police call it roadblock, but the law speaks to road barriers. Road barriers. And it says, as you can see there, notwithstanding anything, notwithstanding any other act, any officer, inspector, or subordinate officer may, if he considers it necessary, to do so for the maintenance and preservation of law and order, or for the prevention and detection of crime, erect or place or cause to be erected or placed barriers in or across any road, any street, in any public place within Guyana in such manner as he may think fit. I want you to read that and understand what it's saying here. Read that and understand what it's saying. And let me explain before we go any further. Let me talk about that. The law is clear that in order for a barrier to be erected, has to be by an officer, inspector, or subordinate officer. So often you see some constable coming out of the station erecting barrier. According to the law, that is wrong. Now, no constable come, and of course, not so long ago, the man who sits in the chair sought to address that in terms of telling people stopping vehicles, that it must not be done by any constable, it must be supervised by an officer and inspector. So that is the law. CC, explain that please to some of our viewers on the ranks in
Yeah.
particular.
Well, it is clear, Paul, crystal clear. Any officer, inspector, or subordinate officer, the law specifies who could erect road barriers. I mean, talk more road barriers. Up there, they drove into West Coast Barbies, Wellet Police Station, a neighborhood police, and another constable manning barriers. Neighborhood police, who's a road constable, and another constable manning barriers. The thing is that submit officer, and I wonder if there are any submit officer outside of Providence Police Station when we saw that photograph. And it's saying for the maintenance and preservation of law and order. Repeat, maintenance and preservation of law and order, and for prevention and detection of crime. They could erect or place or cause to be erected or place barriers in or across any road or streets in any public place. So the operative words there, for the maintenance and preservation of law and order, or for the prevention and detection of crime. I know willy-nilly thing. And some of the bars where they put up, we used to call them porks barrier. You want to make a race, so you put up barriers there And as the vehicles come and the drivers, and so you collect a race from them, your brakes break their hands, or some let's say you break a few knuckles. You don't break on you're cracking knuckles. You know, the thing what they're doing is illegal. It is illegal, and they call it roadblocks. But roadblocks is quite differently. Roadblock when you have certain operations, you can set up a roadblock. They get cut off points and all kind of thing, lookout points and all kind of story. But most time we have a two-person barrier across the road near to a police station or elsewhere. And the thing is clear, specified officer, inspector, or subordinate officer for the maintenance and prevention of law and order, or for the prevention and detection of crime. Not what's going on now. Or like what happened outside Providence Police Station.
Yeah, you know the sad thing, let me tell you the sad thing to me is that when these things happen, there is no corrective action. Disciplinary action is not taken against the persons involved. And the reason why disciplinary action is not taken, and I make this statement without any fear of successful contradiction, the whole disciplinary process as outlined in chapter 1701 of the Police Act, chapter 1701, as well, the system has broken down. Very few officers and other ranks understand the process. Very, very few. They don't know how to conduct a proper disciplinary investigation. They don't know the officers how to conduct an inquiry. And that is the problem. When I was the chairman of the Police Service Commission, I did a survey and the result was brought to the attention of the force. I did a survey over a period and discovered that disciplinary action was not taken against rank for neglect. The most prevalent offense that you could have find was people absent from duty. But all these reports of neglect of duty and other serious offenses, nothing was being done. I showed them too that there were many cases that, and you know, they love to talk about OPR. They love to talk about complaints authority. There were many cases where the complaints authority recommended disciplinary action against the rank and nothing was done. There are cases investigated by the Office of Professional Responsibility, sent to the Director of Public Prosecutions for review. It is recommended that disciplinary charges be preferred against the persons involved. And nothing, I brought all of those things to their attention. Nothing is being done. So when they jump up and tell you about, oh, complaints authority, yeah, OPR, yeah, you might go to the complaints authority, you go to the Office of Professional Responsibility, and nothing further. So no action is taken against those persons. And I speak from personal experience. When on the 15th of October 2021, I was manhandled by Ramana and those ranks at the Georgetown Magistrate Court. I made a report at Brickdam of assault. Nothing happened. I made a report to the Police Complaints Authority. And when I was invited to the Police Complaints Authority, and that would have been on the 22nd of February 2022, I was invited there. Ramana and the next constable they were invited as well. And the people refused to cooperate with the complaints authority, and all they said, well, he's gonna report the conduct to the commissioner of police. And nothing has happened. Nothing has happened. So I am saying this to tell you that when you go and they tell you about complaints authority and they tell you about the, OPR, that is just to try to appease you because nothing happens. I have provided the evidence during the course of the surveys that I did in all the divisions in the force, all the divisions. So I have to remark that, look, it looked like the police force is the most disciplined organization in the world, because when you have a division of hundreds of persons, and then you might have one or two persons charged and convicted for being absent from duty, that is the extent of the thing. So the problem is no proper disciplinary action is being taken against those persons at all levels. And that is why these things continue. And even when they attempt to do it, Mr. CC will recall the case because I think it's you have brought it to the commission's attention during our deliberations for one of the promotions. I think it would be in 2019 or so. A sergeant, listen to this carefully, police ranks and other people. A sergeant is charged for neglected duty. I think he was at Sophia Station somewhere there. A woman made a complaint that he neglected his duty. It went to OPR. OPR investigated, and they decided it was recommended that he be charged for neglect of duty. He was charged with neglect of duty. He pleaded not guilty to the charge. An inquiry was then conducted by a junior officer. Now, during the course of the inquiry, the virtual complainant, that is the person who made the complaint against the sergeant, refused to attend the inquiry. She was summoned, she refused to attend. The sergeant, who under the law you refer to as a defaulter, made a no-case submission. Correctly so. There's no evidence against him. He made a no-case submission. The officer conducting the inquiry agreed that there was no case for him to answer. And then he recommended to the commander, who was Senior Superintendent Calvin Brutus, that the matter should be dismissed, because in the system, the commander would have been what we call the disciplinary authority. So the officer, the junior officer, would have conducted the inquiry, and the officer who's the commander is the disciplinary authority. He's the one charged with punishment, awarding punishment. No evidence, a recommendation that the matter be dismissed. The disciplinary authority found him guilty and fined him 1 day's pay. Cowboy, the disciplinary authority found the man where there's absolutely no evidence because the virtual complainant refused to give evidence to the inquiry. And the man made a no-case submission, which was upheld by the inquiring officer. And when they go to the disciplinary authority found him guilty, fined him 1 day's pay. When we examined the files as we would normally do at the commission when we were there, we saw it and we said, because based on that conviction, they had recommended that the person should not be promoted. Because, as the rule says, that once you have pending disciplinary matters, or you have a conviction, disciplinary conviction within 2 years of the promotion date, you're not considered for promotion. So Mr. Conway was the man who went through the file and brought it to the commission's attention. Look what happened. So when we look at it, man, no evidence. The man is fined by the commander. And based on that conviction, they're recommending that he should not be considered for promotion. Incompetence in the whole process. So I'm saying that even when they decide to take the action, they're taking wrong action and combining people. They're taking wrong action and combining people. Mr. Conway, your comments.
That is why, Paul, we had to check every file that they send to the Police Service Commission. Unlike what happened, and I got to always talk about the last promotion. We're on the 4th of July. The chairman, Bishop Patrick Finley, said he waiting on the commissioner to submit his list of persons recommended for promotion. And on the 2nd of July, they promoted 250 something persons. How could they do due diligence? How could they check files? And I was saying that the file is more corrupt than the voters list. So we haven't checked anything, but there's no due diligence. And it happened that they promoted a lot of incompetent persons. And I agree with you. I know the office is good. Very few persons now and again the police force could inquire into a disciplinary matter. Ask which one of them ever do the inquiry into a disciplinary matter. When last they did one. They're talking about taking a not guilty plea and go through to the end. None. I could bet me a couple dollars. None. They ain't getting none who had gone through the process. And they're not running any seminars to highlight persons. Paul, in my early stage in the police force, I learned a lot from you. You were the kind of expert in terms of dealing with disciplinary matters. They're not dealing with disciplinary matters. And that is why, because they're not dealing with disciplinary matters, that is why they transfer it to the private security persons where they're not taking any disciplinary action against the private security operators and even those persons who committed breaches as things. So the whole system has gone rotten, has gone down the drain, Paul.
Well, let me digress here. I see like you said amphibian and you talking about the Tory. But yeah, let me tell you this. As I said last week, this is not no democracy. The amphibian say named Jairaj Siamba. There's no picture. You get some blank things. So, brother, what we do with people like you, I ain't wasting time with you. For until you come, if you want to make comment on this stream, you must come and show your face. Your profile, according to what it thinks here, it 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 it's on Facebook. So Facebook means that you must show your face. So you must show your face. So show your face. If you can't show your face, out you go. I ain't wasting time with people. You must be brave enough. You must be brave enough to show your face if you want to be able to make comment. Now, yes, let me move on though. Don't let me be distracted by these cockroaches and these amphibians. But all I'm saying, nothing wrong with coming and making comment. But you must show your face. Let people know. Don't hide under no anonymous thing to come and spew a lot of crap, right? You must bring evidence to show. When you just like how we talk about these things, when we talk about the people who can conduct disciplinary inquiry, we have the evidence to show that. When we talk about the matter that we spoke about a while ago, we have the evidence, the statement from the man, the inquiry, the recommendation, and the award of punishment. We have all of that. So don't come with your crap here. Now, see, the next thing to segue straight into that disciplinary issue. I saw yesterday and again today a letter from you in the newspaper dealing with this issue with the Police Service Commission. Explain to our viewers what transpired there.
Uh, it's pretty long, but I try to condense it. We had the case R.B. Norton versus Attorney General and others, where the Chief Justice ruled that the Police Service Commission is not lawfully and duly constituted. She ruled that there are 5 members that make up a Police Service Commission, and they only have 4. The 5th member is the chairman of the Public Service Commission. That is written in the Constitution. The Constitution made it clear that the chairman of the Public Service Commission must be a member of the Police Service Commission. There is no Public Service Commission, therefore there can be no chairman, and therefore the person cannot be on the police service. So she said that is in order for the Police Service Commission to perform duties of the commission, it must be a 5th member. The chairman of the Public Service Commission, I repeat myself, must be a member. He must be a member. Now, and she also ruled that the Police Service Commission in its present state cannot perform any functions of the Service Commission like promotions, dealing with disciplinary matters, and removal of office. There is a barrier that they cannot perform any functions of the Service Commission. Lo and behold, there is a letter purportedly signed by Jai Gopal Jai Singh, addressed to a deputy superintendent of police, informing him that as a result of a recommendation from the Commissioner of Police, the Service Commission has decided to take disciplinary action against him for 2 offenses. 1, disobeys a lawful order given to him by a superior rank, and 2, neglect of duty. They went further and they appointed 3 persons, and I'm calling him Khalil Pasram, Assistant Commissioner, Kaladin Mandal, he's the chairman of the disciplinary inquiry, Khalil Mandal, member, and your friend Paul, Krishnanath Ramana as the presenting officer. Those persons to inquire into this matter, these allegations, alleged allegations, the allegations against the deputy superintendent. And if you look at it, those were persons who were controversially promoted by the Police Service Commission. The Chief Justice saved the promotion using the de facto doctrine. I don't quite agree with that, but then that's a ruling. And if you look at them, I like to observe things very keenly. Pastram, all their first name starts with K. Khalil, Kaladin, Kushandat. So we have K, 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 whatever that will mean. And what we have is that they are all of one particular race. I don't like to talk race, but we're living in a multiracial society and we have to face reality. They're all of one race, and it is a race different from the default. What the Service Commission did, they put the cart before the horse. The law requires that every alleged commission of a breach of discipline shall be investigated as soon as practicable by a member of the force not below the rank of a sergeant and of a higher rank than the rank who is alleged to have committed offense. This section 5.1 of the Police Act. And section 5.3 telling you that the investigating officer shall as soon as practicable inform the rank who is alleged to have committed offense in writing, in language that he understands, and in detail the facts about the matter, what they are investigating. No investigation was done, but they go with breakneck speed straight into trial, which is unlawful. Apart from that, now they're still performing constitutional duties. During this month, the chairman and the secretary went to B Division Borbis, region number 6, division number 6, and they held a discussion with officers, inspectors, and subordinate officers on several subject areas, including lecturing to them on a PowerPoint presentation on transformational leadership. Remember the judge saying, the chief saying they can't perform any functions. They didn't go there on their own. They didn't go there in the private capacity. They went there as members of the Police Service Commission, conducting the business of the Service Commission. And also, there is a young constable. He's young and he's bright. You're seen in uniform, wearing the badge of a cadet officer. He masquerading as a cadet officer. It is suspected that the Service Commission may have quietly promoted him or appointed him a cadet officer, which is also illegal. Or if not, he's taken his pattern off of 5 assistant commissioners who are pretending to become deputy commissioners. 5 of them pretending to become deputy, and they're allowing the press to refer to them as deputy commissioners when they are not. And it is business as usual for the Police Service Commission, which is contrary to the ruling of the Chief Justice. And apparently nothing is being done. We ain't hearing nobody coming forward and saying nothing. Hey, what this Service Commission is doing is illegal. It is time for the judges and other stakeholders to put a stop to this lawlessness. The rule of law must prevail and must prevail all the time. The Service Commission is not legally or duly constituted. Not me says so, not past law says so. It is the Chief Justice rule, and the Chief Justice also said that they cannot perform any functions of the Service Commission unless or until the chairman of the Public Service Commission is made a member. So they're jumping all over the place. They're running all over the place before they run to Shift Chanjapal Drive and get the president to form the Public Service Commission so that the Police Service Commission could be legally installed. Or before the bishop prayed to the Lord that the president would form the Public Service Commission so that they could be legally thing. But they're committing breaches with impunity. They're flagrantly violating the Constitution and flagrantly violating the order of the Chief Justice. Something must be done. and I close my case.
Well, that's a well laid out case, CC. Well laid out. I expect nothing less. And in the notification for the program today, I did indicate that we'll talk about the erosion of the law and of the rule of law in Ghana. And that's the example. The Chief Justice ruled on the 23rd of August 2022 that the Police Service Commission is not properly um, comprised, is not fully comprised. And as CC said, the Constitution dictates that the chairman of the Public Service Commission must be a member of the Police Service Commission. So in the absence of that chairman of the Public Service Commission, there can be no duly constituted Police Service Commission. That is rule, that is in writing. I have to go back and look at it. And yet still, you have the chairman, Mr. Patrick Finlay, he's a bishop, and Jagobin Jai Singh, the secretary, are flagrantly violating the order of the court in that they are going ahead and carrying out functions of the Service Commission, including promotion, including disciplinary action. And let me say this, and that is why we spoke about the erosion of the rule of law. The judge ruled that the president violated the Constitution. Again, it's not Paul Slow or Conway said so. That is what the judge ruled in the matter. Slow versus the secretary and others in the Police Service Commission. There is a ruling, and what? Nothing is being done. Nothing. You're hearing nothing. Everybody's silent. The lawyers, public, civil society, the politicians, everybody's silent. So I am not surprised that the Police Service Commission will go ahead and flagrantly violate, because that is the order of the day. It's a breakdown. There's an erosion in the rule of law. You had a Prime Minister, Mark Phillips, who swore and tell lies in an affidavit. I pointed it out. Nobody is saying anything. No one is saying anything. No one. So what rule of law? Because the rule of law says everyone is accountable to the law. That is basically what the principle of the rule of law is. I wrote a letter which was published, was Sunday, I think it was, in the two major dailies. It is there what the rule of law is. The rule of law is a principle which everyone is answerable to the law. But we have a situation here where all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. And I said that too in the letter. I said it in the letter, and that is what obtains. Because the court is making rulings, and the people define the ruling. Or in the case of the violation of the Constitution, not necessarily define, but taking no action. The Constitution says, Anil Nandalal, the Attorney General, says, back in 2016, I think it was, that if a person violates, he accused President Granger then of violating the Constitution, and he said that he should be impeached. He said so. That is what the Attorney General now, Anil Nandalal, said about President Granger. I read it last week. I have it here. We don't have time to read it again, but go Google it and see it. He said so. And here it is. And remember, mind you, no court found that President Granger violated the Constitution. No court. So the matter did not go through any real thorough process of investigation. In this case, the allegation was thoroughly investigated. That is to say that the president unconstitutionally suspended the Police Service Commission on the 16th of June 2021. The matter went to trial. Evidence was presented for. Evidence was presented against. At the end of the day, on the 24th of March, the judge ruled that the president violated the Constitution when he suspended the commission. Right? And he said that the order was null, void, and of no effect, no legal effect. And what happened? Silence. Deafening silence. I think GHK Lal wrote something about it, but generally nobody is saying anything. It's business as usual. So that when you have a situation where the chairman of the Police Service Commission, Bishop Patrick Finlay, and the secretary of the Police Service Commission, Jagobin Jai Singh, are flouting the order of the Chief Justice and carrying out the functions of the Police Service Commission when the Chief Justice ruled that the Police Service Commission should not carry out any function. That's on the 28th of August. As Mr. Conway said, she used the de facto rule to save all the decisions that were made up to that point. The decisions that were made by the Service Commission up to the 23rd of August 2022 were saved by the de facto ruling. Anything thereafter is unlawful, illegal, in violation of the rule. And people going on the business as usual. But I say this, I say too that the persons who are affected are the ones who have to grow some stones and protect their right. Because, in the police, they say the motto of the police is service and protection. Now, if you can't protect your own rights, how are you going to protect the rights of the citizen? So you have people trampling all over your rights. The court rule that they can't take action against you, they are going ahead taking action against you, and you're silent, you're quiet, you're not doing anything. The judge ruled on the 24th of March that the order to suspend the commission was null, void, and of no legal effect. Let me repeat that. He said it was null, void, and of no legal effect. It means, therefore, that in essence, the Service Commission was never suspended. Right? Therefore, the promotions that were made by the Service Commission on the 28th of June 2021, those promotions are valid. 42 persons are affected. Well, even the man who died, Cooper, he is affected because the benefits will go to his family, no doubt, that he should have gotten if he had been promoted, if the promotion had been recognized, because he was promoted by the Police Service Commission. But on the 29th of June 2021, the Attorney General said the government will not recognize the promotions. They have not recognized the promotion. So you have 42 persons. Some have retired, of course. Some have retired, but 42 persons were affected, and they are quiet. They are all quiet. They are all quiet. People, and I said, look, when the Police Service Commission moved to take action against Karim Bash, following an allegation that was made, he moved to the High Court in an attempt to stop the disciplinary process. He was not successful. Right? The court threw out his application. People got to do more and more that got to be done. People have to be prepared to move to the court to challenge some of these things. You can't just sit back and allow people to run roughshod over you. And you want other people to fight your battle. You want me to fight your battle. Yeah, I'm not going to end up like the general. Well, we had a story in the village there with Mr. Thorne. Mr. Thorne and his sons, he get into some argument with Mr. Duncan. And he had two big strapping sons, as Mr. Thorne. And he took his sons to confront Mr. Duncan and his sons. And when he go and he called the boys charge. When he looked back, he alone. The boys disappeared. The boys weren't there. So it was he alone. So I ain't falling into that trap. I ain't going there. I fighting for me. I have said that they came after me viciously with crumped up criminal charges. I fighting to clear my name. If you happen to be pulled along in the wake of the waves, lucky for you. But you got to be able to fight your own case. We cannot have a system, and we say that we live in a democratic society. We live in a society where the separation of powers is paramount, and the courts are making ruling. These rulings are, some of them not challenged, and people just define them publicly. But in the case of the Aubrey Norton versus the AG ruling, they appeal the ruling, and as was pointed out by Attorney Selwyn Peters in a letter, no stay was requested, no stay was granted, which means that the order stands until it is overturned by a higher court. The order stands. So the order of the Chief Justice or the Police Service Commission stands because there's no stay on that. And yet still people just flouting the thing. These people should be dragged before the court for contempt. The Police Service Commission employed a senior counsel in the matter with me and them. Drag them before the court for contempt. What are we waiting for? The evidence is there that they are flouting the order of the court. And that is one of the sad things in this society. People just quiet and they're moving at snail's pace. They're moving at snail's pace. But body by, I name slow, but me and slow. Me and slow by name and nature. And still, the laugh is when I used to walk around the Caribbean and I used to introduce myself as slow by name and nature. People said, nah, you just move too fast. You and slow by name and nature. So I looking after me. And I'm saying that we cannot say that the rule of law exists when people are openly, blatantly flouting the orders of the court. And when the judge finds that the president has violated the Constitution, those who are supposed to take action are not taking any action. So there you have it, folks. There you have it. Let me bring back Mr. Conway. CC, do you want to add anything more to that?
You said a mouthful, and I want to make a point because I heard the Attorney General saying when he was ranting and raging nonsense at the Friday evening, he said that the president of supreme executive power, which is complete fabrication. I checked the section and there's nothing but supreme, the word supreme, and then the constitution in that article. The president, and I maintain it all the time, is a creature of the constitution. He has to bow down to the constitution. He has to work within the confines of the constitution and every other body within the confines of the constitution. But here we have people blatantly violating the constitution. And let me repeat what the AG said when he was referring to Granger. He said the president has flagrantly violated some of the most sacrosanct, no, the letter, spirit, and intent of some of the most sacrosanct constitutional procedure. He didn't stop there. He said that struck at the heart of democracy. And he end up by saying, in democratic countries, president and more so prime ministers have been impeached for far less. So they're breaking it left, right, and center. And as you rightly say, nothing is being done. Nothing is being done. And we're fighting for ourselves. And if those who are affected constitutionally don't want to do anything, so be it with them. So be it. But we will not sit down and allow them to trample on the constitution and trample on our rights. I did Animal Farm for GC, and I know it well. I learned from back to front. I remember George Orwell saying, all men are equal, but some are more equal than others. And they had 10 commandments. And when they breach the commandments, they add in a piece. One thing they say, no animals sleep in bed. And then the pigs start sleep in bed and they found out they add in a piece. But sleep in bed with sheep, with sheet. So, well, these don't have the power to amend the constitution because I get 2/3 majority. If they have 2/3 majority, they'll breach it and then amend it.
Yeah, well said, well said. I see, I just put up something here. Somebody, they get some argument all the way. Somebody said, you want me to shed some light on the Karimbash arrest of the liar? I would like you to explain the wrong. When he called Karimbash, we have a big argument in St. Martin. This program reaching far, all the way St. Martin. Well, the story here, simply, the lawyer advised her client not to give a statement to the police or not to sign a statement from the police. And for that, she was threatened in the first instance that if she maintained that position, she's going to be arrested when next she go to the Special Organized Crime Unit headquarters. And then when she turned up subsequently and continued to advise her client not to sign the statement, which was provided by the rank, they then arrested her for advising their client to remain silent. Now, she communicated with our office, and the senior lawyer in our office went to the headquarters of SOCU, and this is what they say, this is not what we are saying. He called the Attorney General, Mr. Anil Nandalal. Nandalal admitted that this lawyer, I can't remember his name, he called Nandalal. Nandalal said on TV, on social media, that he then called the head of SOCU, Karimbash, and instructed them to release the lawyer. And we said that is wrong. Attorney General has no authority to call a unit, the head of a unit in the police force, and give any instructions. There's no authority for him to do that, but we say he running things. So in the first instance, the lawyer who sought to represent the attorney that was arrested did not call the commissioner, did not call even the Minister of Home Affairs. He called Mr. Anil Nandalal. And I am saying that he called him because he knew that he can take the necessary action in the matter, which is not legal. Not legal. Then the Attorney General called a unit, the head of a unit in the Guyana Police Force, and instructed them to send her on bail. And then when she was sent on bail, and we talk about the rule of law, she sent on bail and subsequently filed some action. And then the Attorney General said he was disappointed in them filing action because he thought it was water under the bridge. So as far as he's concerned, the police arrested this lawyer for advising our client not to sign a statement. He intervened and had her released, and that should have been the end of the matter. I say he thought it was water under the bridge, and he was surprised that they were taken. So this is what we have. So I hope that explanation satisfies you, right? I hope that explanation satisfies you. I had a similar case where, if you remember, the Minister of Affairs called me when I was commander in Bobby's and attempted to give me instruction to return a firearm to the man. I said, look, boss, talk to the Commissioner of Police. He felt that I should comply, as he did say, I must comply and then complain. I said, no, boss, you don't comply and complain when the order is illegal. I am not carrying it out. And the rest is history, as they would say. So yeah, you've got to know, he had absolutely no authority to call the head of SOCU and instructed that the person be released. It doesn't work that way. And even though he went and he tried to give some explanation, but he's a constitutional representative of the force. If an action is brought against the force, if a civil action is brought against the force, the Attorney General Chambers is the one who got to intervene and represent. That is true. He's the constitutional authority in that respect, but not to call and give instructions in an operational matter. A person under arrest to be sent on bail is an operational matter. And no one, the Commissioner of Police, according to the law, has operational control of the force. Read the law, 1601. Read the law. So I hope that clarifies that part, my friend from St. Martin. And I hope, having listened to that, you get some, wherever you bet, if it's bear or wherever, that you are the victor. And when you take the second one, you will call my name. The second beer. The first beer got to be for you that got to go down quick. The second one, where's the beer or a shot or whatever it is. Second one, call me name, friend. Right? Yeah, I'm saying
Paul,
that. He asked if the AG
Paul,
was wrong to call Karim Bash. Totally wrong. Not only wrong to call, well, wrong to instruct. To instruct. He's wrong to instruct Karim Bash to send the person on bail. He's wrong to do so. We're not saying that the person should not have been released, but not the Attorney General to intervene to give them type of instruction. It don't work that way. I remember a matter some years ago where I think was the president or prime minister in Trinidad, prime minister, I think, called some police station in some matter. One big uproar. But in Guyana, this land that is not a real place, which is a civilized plantation, all of these things can happen and people are quiet. CC.
yeah, let me add my 3 cents in this thing. That in the arrest of the lawyer, I remember she went there, I think a day or two before, and she said she indicated to Romano that she's gonna advise her client not to say anything, not to give any statement. And Romano told her counsel will have to get counsel if she do that. And even when they arrested her, a certain one blocked the exit that she couldn't pass. And in my matter, when I was arrested, Paul, taken to Brickdam, for me to get bail, one of my advisors called a politician who's a government minister. I'm not going to call his name, but I have the record. We had him on speaker. It is recorded. He said that he's going to call Karim Bash and instruct, I'm using the word, and instruct Karim Bash to send us on bail. And within 20 minutes, 2 men from Karim Bash office came and put us on bail. So we have direct evidence, we have circumstantial evidence, and we have documentary evidence. Political interference in the police force, where politicians are call the head of Suku and say, hey, send these people on bail.
And there's a suspicion there, the ones who calling the people and tell Soku for arrest this body. and charge that body too. So they instruct him to arrest, they instruct him to send on bail, they instruct him to charge, and all that going on. All of that. Now moving on here, I saw a video. I think you saw it too. Out Lethem, Region 9, Lethem Police Station. Well, not the police station, in Lethem, where some persons are seen breaking the lock off of a gate to gain access into this building, which was occupied for years as the office of the PNC. You know, there was some dispute recently where they tried to demolish the building, and I think that people took the matter to court. I was amazed to see what looked like a police inspector. The man apparently occupies this office, somebody from the PNC, occupies this building, and the police going there to evict this person from the building. Now, let me say this. I don't know all the facts as to who owned the building or who owned the building. The fact that the building in question is in dispute, because the man said openly that this matter, they took the matter to court. The fact that the building in question is in dispute, the police have no authority to go there and to try to evict someone. The matter is before the court. You have to wait till the court to pronounce. And even when the court pronounce, it is not the police. If the court were to say that the man is there unlawfully, it's the marshal of the court will have to go. He will perhaps get the assistant of the police, and the police will go there to ensure that there's no breach of the peace, that no breach of the peace is occasion. This is the marshal. But here we have police standing up, and a man beating off a lock from a gate. Then they go into the building, and they evict this man, and the policemen are there, the police from Lethem. CC, your comment on that, please.
I saw it, and Paul, we say that we are pattern after the British jurisprudence. And going back to Michael Fagan, the man in the bedroom, the man who found himself in the Queen's bedroom in 1982, they wanted to charge him for trespass, but they couldn't get him for trespass. They got him for larceny of wine, where previously when he went a couple of months before, he drank out Prince Charles, now King Charles wine. And they examined trespass, which they think they pushing in Lethem. And according to the British people, trespass is a civil wrong rather than a criminal offense. If they feel that the PNC is trespassing, I don't know all the facts, in a building, it is not according to the law of criminal offense. It is a civil wrong. And as you rightly mentioned, the court has got to decide that. Not the police. And you mentioned the man appeared to have police uniform, unless he's a phantom in that Lethem. Other than the police inspector uniform, and I saw him arresting, I heard his voice and him arresting the PNC official. So they got to look in terms of trespassing and how we deal with trespassing. The British saying trespassing is a civil wrong, so they couldn't charge a man who find himself sitting down on the Queen's bedroom, the screen bed, and talking to her. Couldn't get trespass, but charge him for thieving some wine, and he acquitted 14 minutes after the trial. So the thing is, they are acting in contravention of the law, Paul. In contravention of the law.
Well, again, I say that these people who these things are being perpetrated against got to take action. Too many people are silent in the face of all of these violations. Take the matter to court and let the court decide. Take the matter to court, whether you were assaulted or you were illegally arrested. Take the matter to court. You can't sit back and take these things. If we had sat back and accepted the unlawful suspension, we would have gotten the law. The jurisprudence would not have been richer for that. But you have to challenge these things. You have to challenge it. Now moving on, CC, we got a lot of matter. This is a sweet one. I saw yesterday, and I got the paper clipping here. No, I got it. It says here, let me read it. I enjoy this one. Barry Dataram is in plea negotiation, court documents. That is an article in the newspaper which says that Barry Dataram, this is Stabrook News, on the 10th, say Barry Dataram, people who know who Barry Dataram is a man who was, well, Nina alleged he was convicted of drug runnings. And they had warrants for him in the US, because he's a US citizen and Guyana, dual citizenship. He was in Guyana, and then they went through the courts to get him extradited to the US. And the man fought and successfully won that matter. He fought tooth and nail not to be extradited, and he wasn't extradited. He served his time in Guyana, and then he was in Guyana. Now, all of a sudden, in January of this year, all of a sudden, Dataram decided that he's traveling to the US. So he traveled to the US, and upon arrival in the US, he became a guest of Uncle Sam. So he there in the jail somewhere, and according to the article, the man is cooperating. And I understand that, well, in other words, people say the man is singing. He's singing. So you're waiting for next year Mashimani and Soca competition. The man is singing. And I understand that people are having sleepless nights. My source told me the day when the man left in January, when a certain man found out that Dataram was traveling to the US because he found out while the plane was airborne. He flew into a tantrum, he flew into a fit. I said, why they allowed the so and so man to leave and all of that? I understand he, among others, are having sleepless nights. And as I said at the end of a letter that I wrote, time will tell. I want to let all of you people know that I sleep in nice when the night come. I sleep in nice when the night come. I ain't got nothing in my mind. So all them who telling lies in affidavit, all them who know they're involved with drug runnings and Dataram might know their business. Them are the ones who have got to have sleepless nights. So sing, my brother, sing. Sing. When you're done, you're getting all the prizes, first, second, and third. The man in a plea deal. And let me tell you something about how the system works. Once in a plea deal, it means that the feds would have done their investigations. They know who involved. They know. They just want the cooperation on it. And when you're in a plea deal, you have to come clean and tell the truth. Because if they find you telling one lie, the deal gone down the road. One lie. So, my brother, sing for your supper. Sing. And let all them there in the place and can't sleep when the night come. Sing and let them can't sleep. Because remember, some years ago, there was a recording of him on, I think it was Travis Chase recording. He gave an interview. And he hinted certain things during the course of that interview. He hinted about certain departments and so on. So now he can't hint to the feds. You got to tell them the truth. You got to call name. See, what do you think?
Yeah, Paul. And the thing is that you mentioned people not sleeping, and sleeping is not where you are or the bed you're on. It's the state of your mind, what going through your mind. And certain persons in Guyana are going to use a fancy term, certain part of their body where the sun is not shining might have been biting and biting all the time.
See, you are being diplomatic. I am not so diplomatic. I saying their body biting. Their body biting. They can't sit down comfortable. They're ginching. I can't call you, man. They got to be ginching. And yes, Terence said that I using my crystal ball. Remember, I ain't lending nobody this crystal ball. I'm keeping it for myself. I'm selfish. I'm using the crystal ball. And I can see down in the future names that are being called. They're going to have the sealed warrants. And some of them ain't even traveling, Some of them can't even take chance to go to Latam. Some of them can't take chances to go no anywhere far because there's a thing called not only extradition, they got a system where you can be rendered. The US got a thing called rendition. Rendition is when they're picking you up and carry you to the US to face the music. So sing, my brother, sing. And I've seen in this crystal ball. In this crystal ball, I can see renditions taking place. In this crystal ball, I can see unsealed, when I unseal sealed warrants, seal indictments against several persons, and we shall see. So I saw that, and I thought it's good to mention it. And then the next day, I saw too something that a woman, I say a woman arrested for using threatening words against President Ali. Well, that one too caught my attention. Woman arrested for using threatening words against Ali, President Ali. I counted the article. The woman is somewhere in Diamond, and she made threatening remarks about the president. I understand that she was arrested, and I suspect that she's likely to be charged. But that reminded me, as we said before, this animal farm, all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. I remember not so long ago when a man went to the office of the president. He went to the Ministry of Home Affairs. He ended up at Brickdam when Ikin was the commander there. He ended up at CID headquarters. He was making allegation that the man was trying to recruit him to assassinate President Granger. And what did the head of the CID said? And I'm going to call his name because the facts are there, the one for sue. Head of the CID, Senior Superintendent Blanham at the time, at the inquiry that was conducted by me, he said that the allegation was inherently incredible. He said that the allegation was inherently incredible. That is a quotation. So now you have this woman who is using threatening language against the president. She's arrested promptly. So one can only assume that they learned from that inquiry that was committed, or as we said, different folks, different strokes. Different folks, different strokes. So let me understand this. As we pointed out earlier when we spoke about the ring story, any allegation against any of that nature against head of state or any senior post of government functionary ought to be taken seriously. Let me understand it. It ought to be taken seriously. A breach at the place where the president lives ought to be taken seriously. Right? So don't let me mix matters with it. But I'm just saying that the same player was there when the man, Andrew Gillard, made the allegation, and he come to the inquiry, and he said that he thought it was inherently incredible, and therefore they didn't do anything really, because and the report is there. At the time when before the report was released, Bharat Jagdeo made all kind of statement. He attacked me. I get asked to grind and all this stuff. I get baggage. He said I get baggage. I had to tell him, yes, the baggage is the baggage that I have. Look inside. You're going to see professionalism. You're going to see competence. You're going to see uncorruptibility. All of those things in the baggage. And then when the report was finally released, I think it was tabled in Parliament, they're silent. They said nothing. They did not say a word. And I know the report went to Parliament, so those of you who have an inquiring mind can go there. You're going to get the report. And it itemized, it outlined everything that took place from the time the allegation was made up to the time when the inquiry was coming. And it will shock some of you to see what transpired there. They came and they attacked me. I guess all the troubles now is all residual from that. Bear in mind, because the truth shall set you free. And what I'm saying, all the time I speak the truth, and I know that I'm going to be vindicated in the end. CC, I think you are there at the inquiry some days when the man said that the thing was inherently incredible.
I I was there in a number of days, and especially when certain persons were given evidence, I make sure that I was there. And apart from that, I read the report. I have a copy of the report. I always keep copies, for posterity. But getting back to the East Indian woman, or adding to that story, there's also a video of an East Indian guy circulating months and months ago where he threatened to poison out all them black people and kill them. Kill them. It went viral. It's still on, and I don't think any effort has been made really. But he's of East Indian. He's an East Indian, and perhaps all men are equal, but some are more equal than some.
Yeah, so true, so true. So all men are equal, but some are equal, more equal than others. And the last thing
Yeah.
I want us to talk about briefly, just to advise, well, two things really. Um, I learned only yesterday, I think it was, that the chief magistrate has proceeded on pre-retirement leave. And there's another magistrate who is to proceed on pre-retirement leave at the end of this month. Not so long ago, you had two judges who gone either on retirement or retirement leave or retirement. And yet still, as we have said, no attempt is made. Well, I shouldn't say no attempt, perhaps they're making attempts, but the Judicial Service Commission, with the responsibility of appointed magistrates and judges, not in effect. So, two gone. I think the chief magistrate and some other magistrate, chief magistrate, my information suggests that she proceeded yesterday on pre-retirement leave. And there's another magistrate, Mr. Norse, I understand, is supposed to go at the end of this month. And, you know, two judges went off not so long ago. So you can anticipate more delays. And you know what they say about justice delayed? Justice delayed is justice denied. The Chancellor, the Chief Justice, everybody pleading for the Judicial Service Commission to be appointed so that these appointments can be made. And for some reason, no appointment is made of the Judicial Service Commission. And then the president attempted to use the fact that there was no Judicial Service Commission, and that is why he could not have appointed a tribunal to inquire into the allegation against the members of the Police Service Commission. And the judge said that the non-appointment of the Judicial Service Commission is the president's burden to bear. That is what the judge said in his ruling. So one can anticipate that with these officers, these judicial officers going off, there's going to be more delay for forces, more delay. CC?
Yeah, but not only the Judicial Service Commission, there's only one point of it. They got to get the Public Service Commission because the Public Service Commission chairman is a member of the Judicial Service Commission too. So they
Well,
got
that's
to
an
look at all,
important,
all, all the
yeah,
commissions.
that's an
All the
important
commissions got to
thing
look at.
again.
Yeah.
That's the important thing again. So let's see
Yeah.
what will happen. Finally, we got to remind, since we raised the issue about this allegation of a $300 million fraud at the police quartermaster store, we ordered the person who was in charge there, a deputy superintendent was transferred, and some officer was there as well, was transferred. You don't hear nothing more. You don't hear nothing more. And as I said, Terence, Crystal Ball again, as I said, because of the forces who are involved, I would not be surprised if nothing had come out of this. Because, as we pointed out, the police is not a self-accounting agency. And some want to make friends. We had a discussion about it because he was saying that the police is self-accounting for the current expenditure. I told you no. For those of people who don't know, you have capital expenditure and you have current expenditure. And the capital expenditure was always managed by the Ministry of Home Affairs, the permanent secretary. And then the policeman in charge of finance, in charge of admin, used to manage the other half, right? But for years now, they have taken away that from the police. So Ministry of Home Affairs through the PS manages the capital and the current expenditure. So if you have a major fraud at the police quartermaster store involving over $300 million, the PS at Home Affairs got to answer question. The man in charge of admin of the force, Brutus, have to answer question. The man of the finance, all of them got to answer questions. But as I've said, because of the forces involved, I would not be surprised if this is swept under the carpet. The Minister of Home Affairs made a statement in February of 2021 in Parliament that $300 million went missing from the police finance office. I think that's the number that always used. Like there's wait for $300 million missing before they come out. And very little took place. Some people charged for a couple of million and so on, but we, including we, for some $10 million, $56,000. What happened to all them other millions and millions of dollars that talk about the fraud? What happened? Yeah, Lado, I know. Lado, I was doing research, someone that come here and I talk, giving factual thing. Lado is reacting to the comment I made about the police being in charge of the we used to be the current expenditure, and the capital expenditure is always under the Ministry of Home Affairs. And what I did in I think it was since when Felix was commissioner, they took all away. So the Ministry of Home Affairs is in charge of both current and capital expenditure. So no big money can't spend in the police force without the PS, who is the accounting officer, signing off. So if you get them big fraud, somebody got to either be complicit or negligent in the process. And that is what I got to investigate. That is what you have to investigate. So I got to continue to highlight it. I will continue to highlight it because it should be investigated properly. It should be investigated properly. All the breaches. Because if you don't investigate, then chances are you're not going to be able to plug the gaps. CC?
Agree. But apart from that, now there are some others that, although they mightn't be in that magnitude, I remember a driver and a secretary uplift hundreds of thousands of dollars to go and conduct investigation at Orangejuke, at Port Kaituma, and at Kaikan police stations on Christmas Eve day. I wonder what happened in the investigation because they ain't gone away. And also reports that ranks in the interior location have been ordered to prepare bogus accounts and submitted to the police finance office for payment because they said the police welfare fund is in red. So they provided the bogus accounts, and they're told that the money would be paid into the police welfare fund, whether that is being done or not. And issues, particularly in Borbis, will be between neighborhood police and RCs. All members of the neighborhood police are rural constables. We made them rural constables in order that they can provide a service under the Police Act. And the thing is, Paul, that there's discrepancies in their salaries, where some neighborhood police, their salary, their pay sheet mark RCs, and therefore they are getting less pay than the regular neighborhood police, but they're performing the same functions, and they have brought the problem to their attention. They're losing thousands of dollars to their every month to their superiors, and nothing is being done. I'm a neighborhood police, you're a neighborhood police, but you get the most more money than me because they classify me as a RC and not a neighborhood police. So too much of financial irregularities circling about in the police finance department in the thing, and persons got to be held responsible for financial irregularities.
Well said, my brother. Well said. Lado, I agree with you, the ministerial tendering process, but we don't know how many transactions were involved in this 300 million, can be 300 million transaction of 1,000, whatever it is. So the investigation will show all of that. Now, as we close, I want to remind you all of this, man. Y'all remember this? Y'all remember this? You remember this cartoon? There was a cartoon back in October 2021. Arrest Stabrook News. That is when I attended court, and I have been arrested for attending court. That cartoon. And then CC, I let you get off because you got to tell us what happened to. I understand when the man came. What the man name you said was coming to do some investigation. Jerry Springer. I understand Jerry Springer came, and Jerry Springer said, not me, Jerry Springer said that the guy or the thing that is weak down the leg side is also a Volkswagen. Lado and others, y'all know what is a Volkswagen? I tried to find out. The man said is a Volkswagen. And those of you back who older guys, remember you had Volkswagen was a small car. Volkswagen Beetle, I think it was. They had one brand and the other Volkswagen Beetle. But the thing that was unique about Volkswagens is that the engines were at the back. Oh, Jakey is a bright boy. Come in front. Take the front seat, Jakey. Jakey said, engine at the back. So, Toro said, engine at the back. Hey, y'all bright, Y'all bright in this class. So, I hear Jerry Springer find that the thing It's a Volkswagen. I don't know if he mean the engine at the back, but he said it's a Volkswagen. So, CC, your closing remarks, please.
Okay, I hear Jerry say you gotta come back several other times but you gotta come back before July, and you gotta come back several other times. Um, Paul, I know you must have heard in the news. We had some outstanding Guyanese athletes and a swimmer at the recent Carifta Games. Could you recall it?
Yeah, I saw, and compliments. I gotta compliment all of those athletes who under very trying conditions, because the information is that when the athletes approached, or when the organization representing the athletes approached the American embassy for visa for them to travel, I think this thing was in the Bahamas or somewhere there. They had to go to Miami. They were denied the visa, and then there was a mad scramble at the last moment to get them, where a plane had to be chartered to take them. They actually arrived after the opening ceremony, and some of the activities of some of the eats had already been completed, and so therefore they were under very adverse conditions. They went there, and from all indications, they performed very, very well. So compliments to those, because at the end too, when they were finished, I saw a photograph with them being taken care of by some Guyanese family in some place. And then later on, I heard that the government made arrangement to charter them to Cuba, and they would have been flying home from Cuba. Well, trust me, the crystal ball again, notwithstanding all the incompetence and negligence shown, when they arrive, you can see all them rushing out to shower praise on them. I have managed athletes at the international level, shooters and other people. And I can tell you, you don't want your athletes to be going through that type of thing. They must only concentrate on their performance. All the admin should be taken care of. They must not have a single worry. But when you go to perform and you have that type of thing over here, you really can't perform well. I am sure that had the arrangement been much better, they would have performed even better than they did, CC. So compliments to them to have performed under those conditions and to do their country proud. Now, the next thing I want to say about that, not them alone, but one of the things that's worried me all over the years. I have gone to, I think, 4 Commonwealth Games over the years as manager to the manager, coach, shooting team, and all of that. And places like Trinidad and Jamaica and other countries, standard uniform. They have standard uniform to go with. In Guyana's case, every activity they go to is a different kind of uniform. Every activity they go to is a different different uniform. They have to, about time the AAA or whoever is the GAA or whoever standardized. I went to 4 Commonwealth Games, 4 different sets of uniforms you're going with. That should not be. That should not be. That speaks to a lack of foresight and management skill. Yes, CC, over to you.
Yeah, and I wish to compliment 2 police athletes who are members of the Progressive Police Youth Club. Jevon Roberts, he won the 800 meters on the 17, and Cian Barker won a bronze medal in the 1500 meters on the 20. So I wish to congratulate them, and more success to the police.
Yeah, well, yeah, this youth club is nice to have them there, and I hope they are treated properly. On the well, I don't expect anything better. Everybody can also get all the publicity now that they have done so well, and then they will tend to forget all that transpired. So, CC, thank you very much for it here today. As is usual, there were a few other subjects that we really can't go into. We are into 2 hours and 15 minutes, and
Yeah.
yeah, but it was a good. I think we had maximum turnout today, man. People smile up themselves and made sure that they were in class, and we hope that we were able to bring you the valid and credible information. As I would like to close, I would always like to warn you about continue to be safe. Now it's not only about COVID, not only about COVID, because COVID is still there. I'll be talking about being on the roads. You got to be safe on the roads. Now, when you're in your homes, you have to be safe as well, because all of these fires and thing, you're not an excuse. The only good thing about that, if there's any good thing at all, is the fact that they haven't come out to say that they are intellectual authors behind this fire. Because you know when the fire started first, they came out in the breakdown, they had intellectual artists. The fire Eve Leary, they had intellectual artists. But now, like the intellectual artists are no longer being blamed for all of these fires. So folks, continue to stay safe, and we will be here again next week, Wednesday at 11 o'clock for our next episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Until then, take care. Bye.